Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tokyo Revengers. So, because I don't want the videos to get taken down or copyrighted too much, I decided the best bet for me to do is to use my avatar more, review episodes this way, and I might just use pictures or small video clips from the episodes to kind of get my point across. But anyways, let's talk about this new episode of Tokyo Revengers titled Re-Leap. And then, speaking of Tokyo Revengers, I feel like this show has Quantum Leap elements. It's just very Quantum Leap-ish. If you guys don't remember Quantum Leap, it's an old show about this guy who would be able to jump into different people's bodies, but in this sense, it's him jumping into his younger body, so it is kind of like Quantum Leap. Yeah. Besides the point, but this episode was pretty cool, man. Like I honestly was really into what was happening. I didn't expect so much to go through. So this episode begins with, of course, Takemichi getting fired from his from the video store. Who knew he'd get fired? Actually, I kind of figured. I mean, when you don't go to work for a couple days and you've been asleep for like 2 weeks, I can only assume. So we know he's been fired. He goes to Naoto and he tells Naoto, like, look, bro, like, there's got to be a way for us to fix everything without having to lose people, and without having to do so much hard work. And the big thing that Naoto says, the big thing that he kind of is like, you know what, this might be the right course of action, is he says, all right, how about this? You said that we know that he changes because Draken dies, and then you're saying that Draken and him never had the scruff because the way the newspapers read the article is that it's Draken's faction again versus Mikey's faction. And of course, having the insight from just meeting the two barely and what he heard from Akun, he's able to deduct that, like, no, that can't be true. It would never have been these two fighting each other. It just didn't make any sense. And eventually we get him thinking, you know what, all right, I'm gonna go back to the past, I'm gonna save Draken from dying, and by saving Draken I should be able to keep Mikey from going down the darker path. So of course, when they shake hands, Takemichi wakes up in the most promiscuous of situations. It is he wakes up under a baddie, and she's like, they're at a karaoke bar, it looks like, and it looks like she wants to fuck, and he's just like, no, I'm good. And it's just like, would you look at that? Takemichi, you fucking devil. It's just so cool. It's just so funny to see him all flustered and stuff. And then, of course, out of all things to happen, he runs into Hina when he's fleeing from the scene. And Hina's like, yo, what's going on with you? And he's just like, how do I explain this? But what is cool to understand is that we kind of do now know what happens to Takemichi's body when he goes back to the future. His original young self just does whatever it was doing prior, and because it does what it's doing prior, it really does paint two different Takemichis. So Hina even mentions it. She goes, "You're the adult Takemichi now." Like, she's able to see the difference between young and old. While this is happening, this conversation, Draken calls him and goes, yo, meet by the shrine, we gotta talk. He goes, alright. And then Hina wants to go because she's like, you know what, if your friends are inviting you, if it's Draken and Mikey, I want to say hi. So they go. A whole biker gang shows up. These niggas look like they're ready to put pipe down. They're like out here with weapons and stuff. They're already picking fights with Takemichi. And of course, this new character comes out. He kind of breaks up the fight. He's kind of cool. I like his demeanor. It's very I don't know if you guys have ever played Persona 3, but the boxing dude, he has that kind of vibe where it's very like stoic, but he can put down, he can put the fades, you know what I'm saying? We do get a big conference that's gonna happen between all the Tomen members of the gang. But as Draken comes in and sees what's going down, he says hi to Takemichi, says hi to Hino, of course Mikey does as well, and we get introduced to a new chick who was the chick that Takemichi was trying to fuck. Oh my god, this is so awkward. Like, Takemichi's trying to play off, I don't know this bitch, and she's out here like, nah, he got me in my underwear, he was ready to fuck. And Hina just lets him have it, man. She goes bam, wham, and then it turns out that this girl is she's into Draken. She loves Draken. She's infatuated with him, and she kind of points out that we've all seen is that Mikey is Draken's main concern. That's his number one priority. And of course Hina's jealous and beats the fuck out of Takemichi, but they had the meeting, and it turns out that the meeting is between the gang, about two different gangs. It's not Mikey versus Draken. It's this gang named Moebius. I'm gonna call him Moebius because that's how I'm thinking it's supposed to be pronounced. It's Moebius versus Tomen. And it turns out that what had happened was a member of Tomen who was friends with a member of Moebius got into a little scuffle, and what ended up happening was the member of Tomen, which we know is Pa's friend, gets his ass beat. And then not only that, it just gets so fucking insane, bro. Like, his girlfriend gets raped right in front of him, and he gets the shit beat out of him. His parents get fucked up too. Like, I think they said that they hung his parents and his siblings. Like, dude, what the fuck? And what I really love about this right now, like, I'm not saying I love all that's happening right now, but what I love about the camaraderie of Tomen is that Mikey's already, although he asked Paul, what do you want to do, he already knows what he wanted to do. Him and Draken both knew at that moment what they wanted to do, and that's they wanted to handle. How are you gonna do our boys like this? How are you gonna, do this to my guy? How are you gonna do this to like a member of my crew and think you can get away with this? Because it kind of seems like Mikey and I don't know if anyone's seen Luke Cage, but Mikey and Draken kind of run the gang style where they're like, there's rules to this shit. You just don't kill innocent people. You don't hurt innocent people. With like, kids and women are like, you don't touch them. This is a battle between men, and fish should be thrown. Putazos, like that's how it goes. Like, if you bring in women and children into this, it's a disrespectful way of business in a sense. Kind of like the mafia kind of style movies. It's like women and children are always off limits. That's not business. That's not a business move. And it's really painted through their rally of the gang and their declaration of war against Moebius, that the way they run things is very honorable to a degree. They're honorable men. They don't want to see people run gangs like this, and I think this is what ultimately Mikey's older brother wanted to prevent, which was he wanted to make a gang in which, or he wanted to make a difference where people like women and children, like younger kids, don't have to get involved in this lifestyle. They don't have to experience that kind of lifestyle. It's amazing. I love Tomen's kind of early philosophy, and it further proves the point that Takemichi was saying, that Draken's importance to Tomen is phenomenal, and this is hammered away most definitely at the point where he's following both Draken and Mikey, and they follow the hospital where they visit the girl who was literally collateral damage, and Draken, just with all honor and respect, just gets not the shit knocked out of him, but he gets told off by the old man. Mikey-kun is kind of like socially inept, so he's thinking, why are we bowing our heads? And Draken tells him, because we have to pay our respects. Women, children, like, they shouldn't have to pay the consequences between these kind of fights. That's not what we're about. And that just hammered everything that Takemichi was stating earlier to Naoto about, like, Draken's importance in the game are phenomenal. They mean more than I think he even understands. His whole position as Mikey's other half of the corazon, which is it really reminds me of Miklo and Magic from Blood and Blood Out. If you guys have never seen Blood and Blood Out, I might cover talking about that on my channel sometime. It's one of my favorite gang movies of all time, Blood and Blood Out. Nothing too big, but there's a scene where he tells him, you're the other half of mi corazon, like, you're the other half of my heart, you're the leg I don't have. And it's very accurate. Like, sometimes your right hand man isn't somebody your right hand man, and any gang member shouldn't be the person who will protect you, not just protect you at all times. It should be the one person that what you lack, he makes up for. He is your partner. He is everything. He is the person when you feel low, he's feeling high, because he's supposed to bring you up. That's the way it paints the relationship between Mikey-kun and Draken. That these two are beyond friends. These two are like, they're not lovers. And I know a lot of people I know a lot of girls have probably wrote dojins about this bullshit. yaoi doujins about these two together, but it's not. They're not together. You hear me? I don't want to see that together. Not because I'm against gay people. It's just I don't want to see two straight characters have to fuck. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, this episode was honestly pretty interesting. I'm gonna give it a C+. It wasn't anything phenomenal, but it does. Every time I watch this show, I'm like, dude, I can't wait for next episode. This is what this show does to me. I need to see next week's episode like ASAP, bro. I want to see how Takemichi is gonna protect Draken. I need to see why this fight's going on. I have a little theory. I think it has something to do with this bitch. I don't know. It just seems like this bitch a little too she's willing to do a little too much, if you catch my drift. But anyways, guys, this is going to be it for the video. This is my new way of doing videos. I might just do it like this more because it just saves me time on editing. I'm just probably going to use clips and pictures. That way you guys can see my avatar in all his beautiful hair glory. And yeah, anyways, this is your boy Poppy Wolf saying peace out, y'all. I'll catch you later. Bye.